Straight like that. I can see it from up here. See the reflection. Yeah, you're gonna be able to see that plenty good in the dark. Let's go hit the brake light and see.
Think I may be losing my mind. Oh, I already lost it. Already lost it. Damn, I may be losing my mind. Now don't tell me that I lost it. That I lost it.
Okay. So I just figured out that unfortunately I can't put a rear brake on this. At least the way that I was trying to do it, or a brake light. I'm gonna probably have to hook it up to the front. Because this banjo bolt, as you can see, if I can get it out, okay. You can see the banjo bolt, which is this bolt right here. I'm trying to get a good picture of it. Can't really see from that side, but this is the best angle. As you can see, that bolt is basically fitted right up against the frame right here. There's no space for it. If we look at this bolt, come on, man, focus. I'm not even gonna take it out of the pack because I might send it back or try to put it on the front. But as you can see, come on, man. The front of the bolt has where the black switch plugs into. There's no room for that to fit on there because not only will the black switch part have to go outside where that screws into, but also this bolt part. So it will have to fit this whole part right here. It's hard to even explain without taking this out the pack. This bolt, this whole piece right here will have to fit just in a tiny space, as you can see where this bolt head is right there. Just that little tiny space is where it would have to fit, and it just can't fit. So I'm going to see if it's the right size for the front. Maybe, maybe not. If not, we're not going to be able to use it. The Tusk kit comes with the washers for it. It looks about the same thread size and everything. Should work just fine. Oh, and it does. Does fit nice and snug. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. It's kind of bulky. I wish they would have made it come out the side, I don't know. But it works. Okay, so here's the game plan. I'm gonna take this light off because I don't want this all this extra stuff poking out at the back of my fender for the rear tail light. So I'm basically gonna cut it even with the light about right there, but I want to take this off so it's not in the way while I'm cutting it. I don't want to cut that, so I'm gonna use this little Dremel tool I got. We're gonna make it do what it do. So just trying not to lose the fairly easy task. Straight like that. Just get that cleaned up. Probably get some sandpaper or something, but see? Just like that. So then it's gonna be a nice clean look under the fender. Only thing that I'm need to figure out what I'm gonna do next is how I'm gonna mount it under the fender, because I really don't want to screw holes into it. So what I think I'm gonna do, since you see these are kind of raised, I wish they wouldn't have done that, but I think I'm gonna cut those off maybe with the same Dremel tool, smooth these out so they are flush with the whole thing, so I can like maybe hot glue it up under the fender like that. So I think that'll hold. But I don't think Velcro is, well, I might try to do the Velcro thing and see how that works, but either way I'm gonna need it to be flush, because the Velcro ain't gonna stick against there when these are raised, separating it. So we're gonna figure something out, but we are having some trouble. This is leaking. This is pretty much as tight as it can go, and whenever you pull the brake, it's leaking brake fluid out of it. So I'm sure that's got air in the lines, and they are kind of spongy right now, but it's coming from the bottom. I'm sure we can't see it right now, but yeah, it's leaking. So I think it might be the spacers or something. So first I'm gonna try to use this brake switch with the spacers, and then I'm gonna try with the old bolt on there. Maybe it was leaking and I didn't notice, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. So hopefully this will work without leaking somehow, because I really want to use it to have a back brake light. Alright, so next step, I just finished getting the switch installed on the front brake handle. I realized that the two washers that go on each side of the brake line that come with it, these don't work. These are the ones that come with the brake switch. I just wanted some new ones on there, but when I put the OEM ones back on there, it worked just fine. So don't use these that come with the Tusk brake switch, hydraulic brake switch. Don't use these. Garbage. So I cut the I guess the bezels off brake light housing, you see they're smooth now. They're no more raised. There was 1, 2, 3, and they were raised. That smoothed them out. And I realized I wanted more contact points to keep it steady on there. And what I decided to do is, instead of using glue or hot glue, what I'm gonna do, I got some double-sided tape off of Amazon. So I'm gonna be using the double-sided tape to probably put some here along the sides and the back, so I can try to get it stuck up there as much as I can. So I'm gonna wash the bike off, clean it under there real good, use the double-sided tape to mount the light housing. And then what I'm gonna do is, here's next what I'm gonna do to waterproof the light. I'm gonna use my glue gun, my hot glue gun with the black hot glue. It works stronger and it seals better. So I'm gonna go around the outline of the light with the hot glue, around the whole switch. So one is gonna stay on there good, and it's going to waterproof it basically. So when I wash the bike, it's not gonna short out the little board that's in there, so the light will have some longevity. Also, what I'm gonna do, when I kind of like put the mount, the brake light mount on the bike, I realized that I didn't really like all this showing. I want it to be as flush and like low key as possible on the bike. So I'm gonna use my Dremel tool that I used to cut that off, and to smooth that out, I use the same bit. I'm going to basically cut along that line that you see right there to try to get it as flush as possible, so you can see the least amount of the brake light housing as possible, so it just looks like it's kind of floating under there under the bike. It's gonna look like it came with the bike. So then after that, we're gonna wire it up, make sure everything works correctly before we actually mount everything on the bike. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to mount this. It's either gonna be in the air box, or it's gonna be behind the front number plate, on the other side of where the battery pack is for the front light. So I haven't decided, but we'll see. And there is the bracket with the light on now. That's what we looking like. Nice and flat on the sides. So you just gonna see the light sticking out. And that's okay. Okay, so I was needing to route the wiring on this side pretty much, because the exhaust is going to be on this side because it's going to be flat like this. So I made use of that hole that was already there and put a zip tie on that. And then I drilled a tiny little hole right here just to put a zip big enough to put the zip tie through, so I can hold that on there, so I didn't have to use any Velcro or anything. The zip ties will work better. So that'll be routed to the left side, just like that. Right along the crack. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with the, because it's not completely flush on the top anymore. Hopefully it doesn't too much interfere with it sticking to the, but that's about how thick the double-sided tape is anyway. There we go. We got it waterproofed. So you can see I had to seal that up too. Almost got caught lacking. I'm trying to see if I'm gonna put something where the screws are too, since I'm all the way in anyway. You know? Ain't no turning back now, might as well, huh? Okay. So I'm about to make an adjustment. I let this sit overnight. I just think the top is a little too thick, because when I place it on the bike, let me see if I can get a good visual. It kind of doesn't sit flush anymore, like how I want it to. It's hard to tell to get a good, but it just simply doesn't sit as flush. So I'm gonna try to trim this down a little bit with the Dremel tool. See if I can make it at least a little flatter. Okay. So as you can see, I flattened that thing down a lot. You can see how much is, you know, extruding on the top right there. It was pretty much the same. But that's the bottom. How much is poking out on the bottom is how much it was on the top. But as you can see, I flattened it out a lot. So that's gonna really help. Okay, so time to explain the wiring. I did my best to make the clearest schematic, picture, scheme, whatever you want to call this, as I could. After doing my research online, you got your battery, you got the brake, hydraulic brake switch that's hooked up to my front brake, the brake light itself, and the on and off switch, you know, for the system pretty much. Or the on and off switch for the running light. I'm pretty sure, if I stand correctly, if I turn the switch off and the battery is still connected, the brake switch should just work. And if I don't turn it on, oh, okay, let me get my words right. I'm pretty sure if I turn the switch off, the brake switch at the handbrake will still kick on the brake light if the battery's still hooked up. If it is on, it should just show a running light, and then when I hit the front brake switch, the light should still turn on. So of course you got positive, negative on the battery. Starting with the on and off switch on the right. Mine comes with a white cord and a red cord, as you can see here. The white is positive, white is negative, red is positive, as red is usually. So that white negative is going to hook to the red positive side of the battery. The red positive of the on and off switch is going to hook up to the white running light on the actual brake light, which is this one. Oh no, I messed up. Which is, damn. For this one is yellow. I don't know why I put white. The running light for this one is yellow. Don't know what made me put white. As you can see, is yellow. So the red positive is gonna hook up to your running light. It doesn't matter what color it is, but you're gonna hook up to the running light. Mine just happened to be yellow. I think the one I watched on the tutorial was white. That's why I got it as white. This black one in the middle is the ground, as you can see as I labeled it. And that ground black is going to go to the black negative of your battery. You got one more line, which is red, on your brake light, and that's going to hook up to your brake switch. My brake switch has two blacks, which are basically the same, so I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter too much which one you hook it up to. But if you do have a positive and negative on your brake switch, which I saw some people did, you want that red brake light to hook up to the positive on your brake switch. That's the one that's, you know, either your foot brake hooks right up to the banjo bolt of the foot brake or the hand brake. Mine is the hand brake. from that brake switch, you're gonna have another line. Like I said, mine is black, yours may be negative or whatever color it is. You want to hook that also up to the positive of the battery. And if you look here, you have the white negative from the on and off switch, and the whatever color negative from the brake switch is going to be hooking up to your red positive on the battery. You don't have to do this. You can hook that up to the red and also hook that up to the red. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to crimp those lines together as I show here, and then from there it's just going to have one line going from those two crimped together to the positive of the battery. So you're only going to look at the battery, you're only going to have two lines hooked right up to the battery. Here's my battery pack. Red on the right, black on the left. So yeah, those are going to be crimped together like so. So that's a brief, not so brief description of how it's going to be. So I'm going to hook these together real quick with like some electrical tape, and then hook them up to the brake switch that's already on the bike and make sure this circuit works. Okay, so the moment of truth. Pretty much got everything wired up temporarily. As you can see, it looks kind of a mess down here, but here's the light. Let's flick the switch on. It did not come on. And that did not do anything. So, something ain't right. So it's on. Of course I did it off camera, but it's basically just not hooked up like a solid connection. But like, you do see the light coming on, and when you hit the brake light, you do see it. So it works. My wiring circuit does work. So you can see it's too much light in here, so you can't really see how bright the light is, but it is on. That's with it all. That's with it on. Brake light keeps flickering. I just don't got a good connection here, so it keeps, something ain't connected good. My little temporary connection ain't the best, but since I did see it work, I am confident enough to hook it up though. Okay, here's an update. So you can see I got the light mounted. That's a look from the back. It's lopsided a little bit. It's hanging a little bit with the double-sided tape. It's just really hard for it to fit flush on there, and it's almost impossible to get it. It's almost impossible to get it to stink up there because there's just so much space. There's so much space between the light and the fender. I gotta figure out maybe how I can get that to stick up there. But here's the wires that are coming out on the side. We're gonna get that wired up. Just a minute. Also, you can see in there, we have the battery pack wired up. Not wired up, but mounted. Those rubber bands are on there. This is just in case. So the battery pack, the cap to it, doesn't fall off and the battery just spill out. Also, we have here our switch is mounted. I ran the wires from the brake switch, on and off switch, down through the hole on the triple tree, and we got them coming out here. I'm thinking I'm gonna just trace these lines here. Trace these lines here on the side. Or there's some more lines on that side that I can trace them to the back. But either way, I'm gonna trace those to the back and somehow get them wired so through here. Okay, as you can see, the light ain't on the bike no more. Round one with the double-sided tape was a fail, but I'm not giving up just that easy. What I'm going to do now is change the positioning of the light so it's deeper in the fender towards the front of the bike, so it's flush along the whole thing, and it's just going to be sitting, you know, on under the fender. Hopefully the light is bright enough that you can still see it running and braking. And on top, I'm going to put a layer of double-sided tape on here, then another layer on top of that, so it'll give it more cushion and more part to stick to, because it stuck to this when I should have made a video of it, but it stuck to this. I scraped it all off, but it didn't stick to the top of the fender because I think it wasn't flush. So can't see it, but I double layered the double-sided tape under here, and I didn't put it on the edge of the fender. I'm about, what, 5 maybe 6 inches, nah, not even that, from the back, and so you still should be able to see the light pretty good. Alright, so now I'm gonna go hit the brake switch, the brake lever in the front, and make sure the actual, you know, brakes are working. Straight like that, I can see it from up here. See the reflection. Okay, so now it's time to do our darkness test. About to turn the flashlight off. I'm about, what is this, 3 feet away from it right now. Yeah, you're gonna be able to see that plenty good in the dark. Let's go hit the brake light and see. Okay, so now you can see, I would say I'm about 8 feet, no, probably about 10 feet away from the bike. You still see the light pretty good. I don't know why it's pulsating like that. It's really not, it's just the camera trying to focus. So now I'm gonna get up on the bike, hit the brake light. It's 10 feet away. Okay, so I cleaned up and organized the wiring a lot better. As you can see, it's zip tied up all the way up to here. Going all the way down. I even adjusted my hour meter wire because it just had a bunch of loose wires, so I trimmed that down even. So you can see that's all nice and cleaned up under there. Nice and neat out the way. It's not gonna be hitting nothing. I already put the gas tank on to make sure that wasn't interfering with it or nothing either. Let's get it around to the side. Let me show you this part. So you can see in the underbelly, this is also nice and neat under here. Nice and neat. You can see from this side. Wires zip tied together. Coming back around to the side, you can see that's nice and clean. Going up to there, coming around through there. Nice and neat, nice and clean. Coming up through the air box. Okay, coming back up through the air box. That's zip tied to the frame right there. You can't see it from the outside of the bike. It's kind of tucked up under the plastic. See that wire is going to red part of the battery pack, black part of the battery pack. You got that black one, since it's kind of extra. It's just routed over here just because I had some extra line. I didn't really want to cut it right now, so I just kind of ran it over here, and it's going back under. All the wires are under the frame, and it won't sit on top of the seat won't sit on top of it or nothing. So you can see from this side, you don't see no wires. Except for right there. And once that plastic goes on, you're not gonna see that. But you don't see those wires in there. You're not gonna see them zip ties and nothing. Nice, clean, almost look like it's OEM. When I tighten that down, you ain't gonna see it. You can barely see the light hanging from the side. Don't look bad at all. As you can see, that hole right there, when it is when the fender's tied on, the wires will be going through that hole right there. So no drilling, no nothing like that needed. So there it is. Decided to stay up late and get it done. As you can see, under the light is double layered, double-sided tape. And on top we got a whole lot of Velcro going on. Velcro on the line right here. So you can see. That should stay. That should stay. All that should not be going anywhere.